Hello, everybody. I'm Overhaul, and today we'll be reviewing Fire Force, chapter 255. And my god, is this chapter a nightmare or a chapter if I ever saw one? There's gonna be so much miscommunication in this chapter, isn't there? Oh, alright. Alright, let's start with the usual disclaimer at the beginning of videos. I am not a kid specific channel. Although the topics I discuss might look like they're for kids, it's more likely I will start discussing things that are not, or use words that are not meant for kids to hear, or just in general, describing things that are not meant for kids. And considering the half what happens halfway through the chapter, or the end half of the chapter, seems like I actually believe is a form of horror uh, in Japan. That's saying a lot. So if you're a child, I would advise you not to watch this video. Now that we got this out of the way, let's get into the review. We start this chapter off with just pretty much getting the showing where all the other squad's captains are. We see Hondo being located after he was boing away from the giant Titan Infernal star thing. We see Pan reacting to what can they do? Where can we send people? Reflecting on the words that his previous captain stated about how Fire Force can't do anything when it comes to Cataclysm. We get Company 6, which I'm honestly surprised we get them, considering how little they really do or appear in the story. Seriously, I'm I'm pretty sure that Company 6 is like the least used company. I mean, the only one that I think is arguably more is even less used in that is Company 3. But the thing is, the company was like half of percent of them were just traitors, and right now, there doesn't seem to be anyone in charge, honestly. So it makes sense why they would not really be used. I wouldn't even be surprised if they were disbanded and just put in the soldiers, remaining soldiers, to other squads to keep an eye on them. But yeah, Company C is like one that we barely get to see, so it's kind of surprising that we get to see the captain today. Seriously, I can't even like remember what her name is. The other ones I can at least get like the idea of what their names are. But her, nothing. But yeah, basically this is just supposed to show us that things are getting even worse and worse and worse, and give us some seriously well drawn panels, because spoilers, the remaining half are not panels drawn. So yeah. Now the Captain Company 4, Pao Hong, I think his name is one of those like my pronunciation is horrible, and I'm struggling to remember his name. But yeah, he gets a phone call from a random soldier who says there's a message to all the companies, and we see that Vulcan did something with communication device that Company 8 has, or made some kind of device that allowed Obi to communicate with everyone. And Obi states to the rest of the companies and kind of gives like a very brief explanation. Also, something I forgot to mention is that we get the very first page has Licht questioning how can he understand this type of a world, which is probably just because he wants to understand the world, and now the world is literally going into madness and insanity. Now, Obi states that although he believes that it's hard to believe, that this will be very hard for the young couples to believe, which is true, but the fact of the matter is that the way these films work is that they work on people's despair, their viewpoint that leads to despair. That's what makes them burn, that's what makes it destroy. And he states that the only way they can stop it is by not losing hope. Basically, make everyone see hope, and that's how they're gonna put them down. And he does say that it's a bit ridiculous, but honestly, I feel like the explanation does make sense if you look at it in his context, it's basically like they work on despair, and the only way they can counter it out is by hope. Makes sense. The unbelievable part is that this destruction is started by people's mindset. But what can they really have to lose at this point? It's either die completely and completely fail, or stay hopeful and believe you can find a way to finish. Also, always says that let's have all the Five Force companies unite, which I'm not exactly sure how that will like bring hope to people. I mean, weren't the companies already working together for the most part against the giant Titan Infernals? The real shocking part is the fact that Company 7 is nowhere to be found. But I guess in Asakusa, you know, Asakusa has been like stated to have had like the biggest amount of like demon infernos. I believe they had like two of them. So I wonder if they're like a bunch of demons coming out of Asakusa. I mean, it would kind of make sense, but I'm not really sure. But yeah. And now we get to the seventh pillar, Sumeria. And the part where I'm gonna have to be very specific with my words and very careful so not to stir any unnecessary issues in the comment section of anywhere. So yeah, we see Sumeria showing up in this kind of same form that Haumea was and seemingly into the world. I mean, I'm not exactly sure the perspective. Like, I think we just see like flames and her coming out. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be from someone from the sky. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, we see her talking how some people still haven't lost hope. How it was all meant to lead to this moment, and it's time for it to happen. And we have a revelation that I'm not sure that many people were thinking, or at least expecting. The and that revelation is that Sumeria was not only in the first cataclysm, but also in the cataclysm that turned the Fire Force, the normal world, the normal Japan, into the Fire Force world. Now I'm not sure if this was something that the community already knew about, because I always assumed there was like a cataclysm that turned the normal people into, the anime characters, and then there was another cataclysm in their world. But it seems like the cataclysm 250 years ago was the same cataclysm that turned normal society into the anime world. And I suppose it does make some form of sense. After all, I guess it was supposed to be a failed one, but I'm not fully sure on how to process this. I mean, guys, I thought it was gonna be some kind of like transition or something, but no, apparently that's what was the case. Also, Sumera states that there was supposed to be like two cataclysms in the world in Fire Force. Like apparently even like evolution from what were we, monkeys originally? Or bugs, something? I'm not really sure. The whole evolutionary scale, there were like cataclysms in between them to evolve us. And it's just that they needed two of them. So I guess the idea was the world was supposed to turn to the second sun by the first cataclysm, not into anime characters. So yeah. That's what we're dealing with right now. I'm sure there's gonna be a better explanation when Lake or someone will get it. And let's hope that he explains it in a way that will be easy to understand. But yeah. Now, anyways, back to Sumeria. And we find, and yeah. Now we see how Sumeria looked like during that when the Fire Force world looked like us. And let's just start simple. I am not, I repeat this again, I am not attacking this man who is playing the role of Sumeria. I straight up am not. I'm sure that she's a very nice woman, and I'm sure that she's very helpful. And I wouldn't even be surprised if she was just there either as an assistant or just a friend who was asked by Kubo if she can play the role of this character when he cuts into the real world. I mean, I would, since it's kind of hard to get a character in pictures, specific pictures of people in for these panels. It's just that, and anyways, I'm sure this woman is nice, friendly, and I have no issues with her. Those comments I made about Sumeria being disgusting, they are not to this woman. They are not. They are to the character who is drawn. Are we clear here? Not the live action woman, would be the best way to say it. The animated woman. Not, I have nothing bad to say about the live action one, just the animated character. Are we clear? If you have a problem, tell me in the comments below and I'll explain it to you again if you are not understanding. But yeah. So yeah, we get this nice woman who plays the role of Sumeria, and the panels that we get from her are creepy as all hell. Like, I believe there is like I'm pretty sure there is a form of art. In fact, if you go on MangaTech's website and you go in the comment section, I believe there's someone who actually give you a link to these type of images, gives us the name and the link to these images. So yeah, I'm sure it's a platform. It's like a form of art, but the images are just creepy because how do I say this to you? We get like we have like images of Sumer, this woman like doing something like just walking, but we get them. We start with being in a hallway, very far away. Then we get to see her a bit closer, like halfway to where she was originally. Then another one where she's really close. And then the final page is literally just that woman's face. Again, nothing wrong with the woman herself. Nothing wrong. It's just the way these images come out with, the way it's speaking, and the previous things, as well as the things that are written in that is supposed to be this woman's thoughts and speaking, is really, and the way these panels themselves are added in is really creepy, which unfortunately makes this woman look kinda creepy. I'm sure that she's not. I'm sure if in the real life she would look nice, would look pretty kind and all, but the way it's the tone this is supposed to go in a creepy direction. And honestly, completely agree. Like, if Okubo was going for creepy, he nailed it. Like, I'm not sure if Okubo was the one who's doing this or an editor, whoever was, you get a A+ star for if you wanted to make it look creepy. So yeah, this Japanese woman starts to tell us about herself more, which makes sense. And Sumeya was like, I would say, one of the more less developed characters from the pillars, or the least developed. I'm only saying that because Amaterasu also wasn't really all that well established and developed. That's why. But yeah. So she explains that she was following Evangelist even before the cataclysm. Like, she was one of the people who was helping on making it work. And she also explains to us that that people's free will, like choosing what they want to believe and stuff, all that was false. It was always Evangelist ruling through the shadows, always manipulating things. Which makes me wonder how Evangelist would look like if she was in the real world. I mean, I want to say that it will probably be just like a. I mean, we don't even know what Howard Jones looks like in the animated world, so also like a cloak and half of a what looks like a human face. But again, we're not exactly sure what Avengers even looks like. But yeah, anyways, she explains that Avengers was always manipulating things in a way. If it's choice the people made, they believe they believe it was their own. No, it was just manipulated. Like basically, what Cooper is going here is going really big in meta. Like there's literally one of the final pages. In fact, it might be second to last page in the chapter. Is literally them is like Sumaya saying how, oh, there's a bunch of these little what she described bugs, which is supposed to mean things that people like and they just follow it regardless of what. That's what she saying how look at that on the phone. There's a new trend. There's a new trend. There's a new trend. Basically kind of reflecting on going extremely breaking the fourth wall here. Like we're talking about Deadpool or referencing addressing the fact that we're having a backstory inside of a backstory inside of a backstory thing. Like we're going really meta here. And she basically just spouts out the whole thing we always got like the standard thing the White Cats do span out. Like there's no real like substance to it. I think to make it look new, it's just more explanation to who she was and all. I'm still kind of curious on how the whole thing worked in the real world. Well, in our world. But yeah. Now, she also explains to us that Japan was chosen as its main center because, well, okay, let's be real here. When it comes to media and the things people would like to consume, it's the Japanese manga that people want to read, not the American comic books. So, yeah. That's the explanation on why. That's pretty much the explanation on why Japan is the one that was remain while everyone else had to migrate into it. So that explains it. Well, in a way. And then we again like doing these like these very like basic panels of what like really anything noteworthy. Just they come up really creepy in the composition the way it's done. So yeah. So she basically explains about things. She even says how people just follow whatever is on. Like they celebrate and worship celebrities. They they believe whatever hoax they hear. They hope and they leech onto that. You know that basic stuff, honestly. Nothing more. And again, there's no real like substance to it. So I'm basically just repeating myself at this point. I will be honest. Like I'm trying to figure out exactly if there's some kind of deep meaning, but there really isn't. That's pretty much it. And yeah, it's just like this final half just honestly feels like it's more in there for like being very meta, breaking the fourth door, and giving everyone nightmare fuel by in the most simple way that no one expected it to be. Seriously, is it just something that's unnatural about photographs that makes it, or something else? I'm not exactly sure. But yeah. So now this chapter really was just us again OB communication and kind of getting to see what our companies are doing, getting a little more of a backstory on who Sumera is and what's he was going on, and that's pretty much it. Nothing more. This chapter was probably like a little more lesser in terms of everything. Like at least the last couple of chapters we had the dragon in space, the giant blast sent out. Like we at least got something. This one really has nothing except a creepy final half. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm kind of hoping the next chapter is gonna be a little more exciting because this one is not really wasn't really anything, or we're just gonna continue with the backstory, which I'm hoping we are not. Which now I think about it, isn't there like also the woman in black? How does she look like? Like would look like in this world because she's physically also damaged in manga in the animated version. So yeah, curious about that part. But anyways, I hope you like this video. I hope you leave a like, tell me in the comments below what you think of the chapter, and subscribe to this channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all people next time. Bye.